So the center is the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration, and we engage specifically military community, which it doesn't matter of their discharge status, it doesn't matter what sexuality, it doesn't matter who they are, as long as they had signed that contract saying that they're going to serve for one day, we will be helping them. And we always say 9 times out of 10 is the family members and friends that's usually reaching out to us, or any service or anybody in the community. So we always include the families and friends with all engagements. That's why we're on social media. That's why we're in so many different things. And the center started about several years ago with Kevin Keaveney, who, like many of us, actually not many of us, because then I'll start be stigmatizing labeling, but for some veterans, they struggle. And Kevin struggled as a veteran, and he built a kayak. And if you ever come to our center or anything like that, we'd love to give you a tour of the kayaks that the veterans build. But from Kevin building one kayak, he was able to recruit other veterans. And then after several years, they actually have developed the woodworking program where veterans are able to build kayaks for free, just coming together, camaraderie, like all those different things what we think about, like when we just work together with our hands and being present in the moment of what we do. That was able to, come about with just veterans coming together. And from that, it developed, so the Dwyer program, mindfulness, warrior riders, women's warrior riders, groups just developed under just that one mission of saying, hey, by us coming together, by us having peer relationship, by us connecting to the community, we can help out each other. So the purpose in the center is just making sure that the military community is connected, the community is connected to what the military community is doing, because we know that the bridge between civilian and veteran or service members kind of get iffy depending on who you talk to, because so many people still have those stigmas and labels for, who or what the military does or what they've done. And one of the biggest things I've always sometimes talk about is when the Vietnam veterans came back. We know that for a lot of them that came back, if you have family or friends that just was in that situation, it was the hardest thing for them, because they're basically said they got spit on, they got everything happened to them. And up to 2021, there are veterans still that's saying that they don't want to be recognized as someone that served in the Vietnam War, because people are still talking about that up to today. That people are still naive. People are still, separated by their own thoughts of like why this person served. So that's what we're trying to at least educate people on regarding the service members, regarding like why we serve, like what we do. Because I served in the U.S. Air Force and I was logistics. So I did supply management. Like everything you do does not have to be like holding up a gun and doing something. It could just be, personnel work where you're a nurse helping somebody, that came back from war, and you're just helping them in a particular situation. So we all come in, different ways, and we all leave in many, many ways. And that's where we always try to keep that connection together. And once again, I mentioned the services that we have. And one of the things that we always promote is the community. A lot of the things that we do here, we might not be able to do for other individuals. So we're always telling everybody, like, if you can't or you don't want to work with us, there's, Family of Woodstock, there's Access, there's, so many programs out there that you can, reach out to. There's the VA, there's many services out there that you don't have to, stay with us. We don't want to be competitive with anyone. We want to make sure that the community is always involved with everything we're doing. And we always want to promote everybody at the same time. So anytime we do like resource events, or anytime we do outreach, we're always having somebody's pamphlet on our table. We're always having somebody's information on our table, because no matter what, at the end of the day, we're all going to be, doing something for someone that could help them in some capacity, whether it's small or big. But at the end of the day, it's all of us working together. And that's what we're always promoting with, community engagement. And that's where, HEAL definitely has been that perfect thing for us, because I'm a resident of Ulster County for the past several years. So I'm just getting to know how Ulster is. And I was just talking to Jill and Allenville and like all these, small hotspot of locations, there's there's individuals that just don't know about different things that's happening. So when we do events and when we do outreach, we want to go out there. We want to make sure people know what's going on. And, sometimes you have to go to people's faces and say, hey, this is what's going on. Do you know anybody that might need the services? Do you know anybody that just might need the help? Here's a card, here's a pamphlet, follow this organization on Facebook. They'll make sure that they'll connect with you. Reach out to Mobile Mental Health. They're always going to reach out to you if you need help. Like all those different services, we're always trying to push back into the community because, I always say this, at the end of the day, it's us trying to help that individual and their family, because when that person passes away, the families are the one, that's going to be struggling, trying to figure out why this happened, what could we have done. And as long as we keep providing the resources, as long as we keep providing the education, as long as we keep providing the platform for them to understand, it's going to be there for them to understand what's going on.
I just want to mention that recovery from opioid use disorder requires a little bit more than willpower sometimes, and medications can be part of that solution. There's 3 FDA-approved medications. That's methadone, buprenorphine, and naltrexone, and they can lower the risk of relapse and overdose. Evidence shows that these medications reduce or eliminate withdrawal symptoms, blunt or block effects of illicit opioids, and reduce and eliminate cravings to use opioids. MOUD treatment can be combined with psychotherapy, support groups, or other treatment opportunities where available. And to reduce overdose deaths and the many other destructive effects of opioid use disorder on our community, we must increase the number of people who seek MOUD treatment and who stay in treatment long enough to recover. So having an MOUD telehealth room really enables those who may not otherwise be able to take their MOUD appointments. Many people with families or lack of technology, that's where the telehealth room comes in. You need a quiet and safe space. There is a quiet and safe space here at the center dedicated to that, where you can take your appointment, get what you need from that appointment, and move forward. Because medications like MOUD, there's visits and check-ins that are required to maintain that medication. So we want to make sure that people can do that, because dropping off of that treatment can lead to overdose. So also, having a room at the center really enables the center to be able to maintain that relationship with the client. So if someone comes to the center and wants to utilize the MOUD telehealth room, they'll have to make an appointment so that this room can be available, and it can be ensured that when you show up for your appointment, this room is yours. It's not going to be busy with something else going on or someone else taking appointments. So if you make an appointment and you don't show up, that enables the center to be able to follow up. Whereas if you're taking a telehealth appointment at home, there isn't really anyone but your doctor who can maintain that accountability. So it adds another layer of accountability to ensure that people can maintain that treatment. So we're very excited to have it here at the center. And that's what I've got to say about the MOUD telehealth room. It's a small little space, peaceful, and there's a laptop here and also noise machines to make sure that anyone outside of the room isn't listening in on the business happening here. And also having the space with a sign next to it saying that it's dedicated to medications for opioid use disorder is just another step towards awareness. When clients are passing through doing anything else at the center and they see that room, in the back of their mind, they know that the center is supportive, and it could really open up that door for discussion. And someone who may be experiencing opioid use disorder but hasn't opened up about it, that enables them to know that they're in that safe space where they can trust the people around them to have that conversation. Gavin, do you have anything to add?
I think, for just all of us, really, it's just about, creating a location where, the additional location, you can't give more than enough when it comes to these different things, like for, combating opioid. I mean, as long as we provide as much resources, as long as we provide as much avenues, as long as we provide as much space for people, I think, people be more overwhelmed, like, oh no, there's so much stuff, like, where can I choose? I'd rather see somebody say, where can I choose, opposed to saying what is available. And I think that really changes the game when we are able to, all of us, to really say, hey, there's a space available down there, there's a space down there, if you can't have an appointment at this location, there's another location down, the road, at this location. So it's great to have the space, and it's great to allow the community to actually come here as well, to utilize the space that we have, because we always tell everyone, we consider anybody that comes into this door family. So once you step into this door, we always want to make sure that you're okay, your needs are being addressed. So this is just another arsenal to another thing to our arsenal of like what we do for the community.
Gavin, I wanted to ask you why you think it's important for our partners to be aware of the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration and to use you in addition to any veterans care plan.
For the center, because we deal so much with military community, and we have a strong bridge with like the VSA Veteran Service Agency, the VA Veteran Affairs. We're great partners and great bridges to get to these different services. But most importantly, we have peers here, and we put on events. We do so many things for the community, but behind that, there's a veteran that's struggling, that has suicidal ideation. There's a veteran that has gone through some type of issue, or on the other side of that is like they might not be going through anything, but they just want to be connected to other service members. So it's just having a platform, a stage, a space that's available to the military community, as well as allowing everybody to know that they're always connected, they're always supported. If they want to reach out to somebody, they know that they could reach out to someone here and get connected to, whether it's us or somebody else. But it's about having a location, or just having a presence in the community, so people could actually reach out. And I guess I could just go on and on about why it's important to communities reach out to us. But at the end of the day, it's about making sure that person is okay, making sure that person feels safe, making sure that person knows that they are supported, making sure that person knows that somebody's willing to stand with them, someone's willing to get down on the floor with them, someone's willing to lay in the dirt with them, if they need the help. So it's just about creating a safe space for anyone and everyone.
Thank you, Gavin. So at this point, I think we can open it up to question and answer. Does anyone have any questions for Gavin?
One, I think this is amazing. And thank you so much for your service and everyone who's there. I come from a military background, or no, my family is military background, not me. So it's definitely, it hits home and it's beautiful. I was just wondering, with the MOUD telehealth, who is the provider that you're using to connect people with? Like, who's on the other end?
So Jill, I'll ask you that question as well.
Sure. So the MOUD telehealth room specifically is for patients who are already connected to MOUD. So someone comes in and says, I have an appointment, and then this space is given to them to use the computer to take it. So in the event, but it also opens up the discussion to clients of the center. So they see this room and they're like, what's medications for opioid use disorder? Because they may think they could benefit from it. There's people at the center who can talk them through options. And Gavin uses your MOUD provider list all the time. And he's using that for community engagement as well. So if someone isn't connected to MOUD, he can help sort of guide them to a provider if their provider doesn't already offer it. And then once they get that connection, they know this room is here for them to return back to and to utilize however they need to make sure that they continue to take their appointments.
Okay.
And I'll say this too, we don't have a doctor on site. So one of the biggest things when we do our outreach is to make sure that we our staff goes to the different MOUD locations so they could have, you know, visualization of like where the location is, so that when they report to the individual that's asking these questions, they could describe it to them like, yeah, you know, the facility has X, Y, and Z. So if you want to know more about it, we could, you know, be that guy too to help them, you know, get to that location. Do you guys ask veterans, I'm sorry, not veterans, but the individuals that attend or just go utilize your service if they're service members or veterans or been in the military or anything like that?
That would be a Danielle question. Does registration ask that?
I think there might be a question in our registration, like in our emergency room when a patient comes through. There might be a question in there. I can double check. Sometimes the patient will offer up that information, but it's not something that we, when we go visit our patients, that's something that we ask. But you know, when we're getting a history of like their story of what they brought them in, sometimes they offer up some little background.
That's great. Because I know to add to that too, which, you know, I think you guys have great experience in this, with the individuals that, you know, you might speak to or just asking about their service connection. Some of them that utilize outside services, they might not be service connected, which is if they're like 10%, 30%, whatever percentage to utilize VA services. So we will love to assist you guys with that. If you do, you know, connect with a veteran that says, yes, you know, I'm a veteran or I've served and I don't have any access to any services, we'll love to be that conduit or just some type of support for them, whether, you know, if they're not using our service, but at least we could get them to the proper services that could acknowledge their veteran status.
And Gavin, where are you guys located? Are you in the Kingston location?
Yes, we're at 320 Enterprise Drive, which is, if you're familiar with Tech City, we're right on, yeah, we're right down next, actually before you hit the overpass, depending on where you come from. So if you come from 209, we'll be, you know, right on the left side where you see the American flag. So you just go right into the half circle and our office is located within those doors.
I'll throw that back up later at the end of the info session.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Put it up while I was describing that. But yeah, Gavin and I were discussing that topic in a lot of detail before we popped on here, to just utilize the opportunity when you're taking someone doing intake to ask them that simple question. Because if they are a veteran, no matter what they're going through, it could be really great to connect them to the center, because the peer services, even everything outside of the MOUD telehealth room, could be very beneficial to someone, whether or not they think they need it. So just having that awareness so that people know there's services out there for them outside of what they're currently seeking in that moment is just good in the overall health of an individual.
And we will actually go meet someone where they're at. So if someone is on the street, we'll actually go there, talk to them like a human being, and make sure that, you know, if they need any services from us or just want to get connected to stuff that, you know, will benefit them, we'll love to do that, because we know that the human approach of just seeing somebody and talking to them, you know, it affects them. It makes them feel like they're important, opposed to sometimes when, you know, when they try to reach out to somebody on the phone and they can't get to somebody, or if they get through the busy signal, if they get through an automated system, you know, it sometimes turns somebody away. So we know the importance of just, you know, speaking to somebody and just hearing them or just seeing them face to face whenever or wherever they are.
I also want to add, we also discussed today, Gavin and I, about bus vouchers, because transportation can be an issue sometimes. The UCAT does stop at the center, so we are going to provide the center with some bus vouchers. So if you connect with a client and you get them started on MOUD and they're a veteran and you tell them about the room and they want to utilize that, the bus vouchers that are part of the Healing Community Study can also be used by the center, because as long as they're being used to get to MOUD treatment, telehealth or not, they can be used. So transportation shouldn't be an issue. with the client if that's something they express. Any other questions? And this can be about the center in general or about the MOUD telehealth room specifically.
And I definitely want to let everybody know we do have a lot of partnership with the community, like Oracle, which I know everybody work with jointly. We work with law enforcement, so we are speaking to all the chiefs of police in Ulster County, from Ellenville, Phoenicia, all these areas. We're going out to law enforcement because we want to make sure that when they do engage a service member, that jail is not like the first response, like, hey, get them connected and see how we could help them. And there's also drug treatment court in Newburgh. So I mean, if we could at least get someone treatment that will help them get to a better place, we're always trying to do that. And we're always trying to reach out to other community service members. So if you see us stopping by your office, if you see us just on the street walking in Kingston or in Ellenville or downtown Plattekill, because we usually do something in the library every month, just to let people know, hey, there's resources out there for the community. Like, what do you want to get connected to? Who do you want to talk to? That is our objective, and that is our goal, to make sure that the community knows about what's happening in Northwest, East, and South of Ulster County.
I also want to add that the role of the community in making sure that veterans get the services they need cannot be stressed enough. So if you meet a veteran just as a civilian or in your role, in your professional role, if you meet a veteran, passing along the word that services are available to them in or out of context, whether it's when they express a need for something or just because they're a vet, can't be stressed enough to let them know that the center or the VSA at Ulster County or any resources that you're aware of is available to them. Or if you meet a community member who is involved with veterans, a mother or grandfather, uncle, sibling, to let them know about this and even prompt that discussion about why peer services are important. Peer services are really amazing, whether it's opioid use disorder specific or alcoholism or just vet to vet. Cannot highlight the importance of that enough. And I'm sure Gavin would speak for years on that as well. So just putting that out there in the universe to reiterate, to keep that in the back of your mind.
One of the biggest things that when I, took the position here at the center and, just engage in the community, I think the biggest thing, the takeaway has been the relationship that everybody has been building, and the community support of organizations reaching out to, the community. Because when we go out there and do outreach, I always go back to this, like, we make sure that everybody knows about organizations. And then when someone says, yeah, I know about this organization, know that people do know, you guys are around, people do know that you're available. And as long as we could at least put that seed in their head of like when something happens, it's absolutely important. So, I want to say, thank you to the individuals on this platform, as well as anybody that's going to be listening to after, we finish this. But just thank you for everything that you're doing, for the community, because the community sees what we do, and they always, understand why we do the things we do. And when they see the empathetic approach, when they see the compassion of why we do things, they are absolutely telling somebody that, hey, reach out to this organization. They will do, amazing things for you. Reach out to this person. They will get you connected. And I think the MOUD platform is really creating that, that conversation throughout the whole entire Ulster County of saying, hey, you are supported, you are not forgotten. We're willing to, help you no matter where you are, and, no matter what you're going through. So that's what I definitely want to say. So thank you, everybody, for, listening.
Tanya, I noticed you were hoping to jump in there for a second.
No, I was just going to say thank you, Gavin, and reiterating the power of the peer, that peer-to-peer contact. There's nothing like that connection, having that that common denominator, that common experience. I just, it's so beautiful. So I just want to throw that out there. Do you have any like literature, like brochures or anything that we could keep up here at the hospital?
Yes, we do. And I know one of our peers are probably going to be heading to your hospital sometime within the next couple of weeks or so, but they'll definitely be bringing brochures and anything that you might need. And definitely send me an email too if you need anything like via email, just to say, hey, we could put this on our social media page. That's also another thing. When I do weekly videos on Facebook, I always plug in like organizations and community members and always link their pages. So one of the things I told Jill knows that I'm going to be, for the next few, actually probably next couple of months, I'm going to be doing a plug for MOUD, and I'm going to share all the information for MOUD, such as organizations, providers. So, and it's on Facebook, it's going to be on Instagram, it's going to be on Twitter. We're going to be making sure that everybody knows about this. So if you want to, send me anything that I should be plugging in on my weekly videos when I broadcast it, please let me know. I want to make sure that everybody knows about what's going on, especially in your organizations.
Yeah, and if your organizations can share what the center is sharing, it's all about getting the word out. At this point, people can't be served unless people know this is available to them. So whether it's while working with a client and letting them know they can use this, or just sharing it on social media and telling everybody you know. So just awareness is key.
Thank you, everyone.